Jurassic World, a franchise dedicated to the revival of nature's most dangerous creations. Throughout this franchise, there has been six established movies with additional shows, and with these films, debates have sparked all over the place. For example, things like theories and sizes, etc. Like types of debate that even you wouldn't possibly ever think about. But the biggest debates usually spark around some type of power scaling and the hypotheticals on what would happen if, for example, two dinosaurs were to meet and fight. The debate of who would win today, we will be addressing one of the biggest debates in that community, which is the giga versus the Indom.
Indominus Rex, the hybrid who is mostly considered the perfect mate from many in order to profit. Then on being born in animalistic properties leading to her sadistic nature, named the downfall of Jurassic World for a reason.
The Giganotosaurus, the biggest carnivore the world has ever seen, making an appearance in the final chapter of the world extension. The Giga was enlisted as Rexy's arch nemesis and her former killer, a rivalry that expands through different time periods. The two fought once 65 million years ago as established by the lore, and now meet again in the present time. Enlisted as Biosen's ruler, he is widely considered by many to be the strongest. Generally, when this matchup is brought up, there's a ton of statements used, and ideally used to predicate some argument. One of the most popular ones, and the one we'll go over in this video, is the biggest narrative, or what you call bigger and badder, implying some type of power.
So, what exactly is the biggest narrative? Basically, it's a power narrative that annotates a dinosaur's size as being a win con. There are quite some statements that imply narrative. The most direct one states Giga is bigger, badder, nastier than Indom by Colin. So, why do some of these statements imply a size as a win con?
So the reason why this statement implies size being this power narrative is because in the Jurassic World universe, size is consistently used as a general notation towards power. Examples of this include Spino vs. Bull and other things like Ember vs. Rexy. And these matchups or fights even, it's consistently used. And statements that generalize the concept of being badder and correlated with strength.
Well, a lot of people like to say stuff about the quantification for Indom and the Giga's power. The problem with this is like the Apatow stuff. That the Rexy just doesn't could just like not really deem the Apatosaurus as like a threat. Like kind of like how cheetahs and lions like don't are scared of like porcupines and stuff. They just like get lazy, don't fight. Doesn't mean that they're relative at all. Also, we quite literally see the Apatosaurus hit Rexy with her tail, and it does absolutely like zero damage. I think we can just conclude that paddles don't really scale Rexy that well at all.
Further to clarify on Maurice's point, we also know there's a statement specifically by Owen when a fan asked him like, "Well, do you think Rexy has the capability to kill these herbivores?" And he's like, "Yeah, she absolutely has the capability to." So we already know that Rexy is gonna be stronger than these guys. The only reason she didn't kill that one paddle in a specific scene is because she didn't deem it worthy, as Maurice clarified it. Okay, so when it comes to performance, when we compare Indom and Giga, we could obviously like make some type of contrast via Rexy. We just use both their fights and try to make some type of conclusion derivative of like their fights. So with Indom versus Rexy, it's kind of evident that they're very relative, or at least the intent was to make them relative. We have like this statement by Jack Horner pre-movie that talks about how like Indom would barely edge it out. We even see this kind of consistently with the movie too, how with how Rexy later on adapts to Indom in the second round. Granted, blew his hoping a little bit. Whenever it comes to Rexy and Giga, however, there's a clear distinction between both of them because Giga is built up narratively to be this tyrant that's just completely unmatched by everything else, like the strongest basically. And Rexy is even stated that she's no match for him, and that their fights are like uncontestable on Giga's side. So there's a very evident distinction between Giga and Indom when it comes to performance against Rexy or narrative.
I would like to mention. is the damages that they dealt with each other. We clearly see the VFX thing, even if you do want to take it as true, that Rexy pierces a lot less deeper into the Giganotosaurus than Indom. Indom also gets repeatedly ripped apart to a point where her flesh is sticking out when Rexy bites into her and rips through her. This never really evidently happens to the Gigantosaurus as well. So we can just conclude that the Giganotosaurus is probably more durable and can inflict more damage than the Indominus Rex could as well.
Okay, also to add on to Maurice's point about how there's clearly like evidently some type of damage distinction between like both of them when it comes to durability. I wanted to talk about how like people like to argue, well, Indom was weakened, and because Indom was weakened, therefore that we don't have a clear skating chain for her base state, meaning that her base state is likely much stronger. However, this doesn't follow because we could simply like posit that there's not going to be any type of real quantification between based Indom and quote unquote weakened Indom, even if we like granted Indom was actually weakened. And the argument for Indom being weakened is that she ran like around the whole entire day and was fighting constantly, but like it could just be the case that Indom got stronger because she was more experienced at the end of the fight.
So, who is stronger in this context between these two apexes? Well, it's evidently the Gigantosaurus. He's consistently shown to be stronger than the two when it's compared in physical, such as Dura, AP, narrative, and piercing in physicals as well.
Also, it's pretty obvious that there was some type of intent behind her performances. Like, why would it be the case that Giga vs. Rexy would be such an unfair matchup narratively if the intent was for Giga to be below Indom? Obviously, there is some type of distinction here between what the performance tells us in the narrative. And obviously, like, the meta narrative was for Giga to, like, whenever comparing Indom and, like, Giga, specifically because of their narratives and, like, how they correlate.
So yeah, as you heard, the Giga is the strongest between the two. Relatively takes this match up to low to mid difficulty as he outclasses Indom with both narrative and performance wise. I hope you guys really enjoyed this collab. Give me any like suggestions in the comments below for the next video that you guys would like. If you do have anything to say,
I'm good. Like, you can end it off.
all right.
Like
Thank